The photo that changed everything, when the past comes between us. When I think back to how my relationship started, it always makes me smile. I am 24 years old, and my boyfriend, who is 25, and I have been together for a little over a year. In that time, we have shared so many memories, some good, some challenging, but all of them meaningful in their own way. We met at a friend's birthday party, and I remember how easy it was to talk to him. We laughed about silly things, talked about our favorite movies, and bonded over our love for animals. It felt like we had known each other for years, even though it was only our first real conversation. After that night, we started texting every day. Our conversations were light and fun at first, but soon we were sharing more personal stories and dreams for the future. We went on a few dates, and even though we weren't officially together yet, I knew I liked him. He was caring, funny, and always made me feel special. I was excited about where things were going, and I thought he felt the same. We became official about a month after we started dating. It was a simple moment, just the two of us sitting on a park bench, watching the sunset. He reached for my hand and asked if I wanted to be his girlfriend. I said yes, and we both laughed because it felt so natural. From that day on, we were a couple. Our first year together was full of little adventures. We took weekend trips to nearby towns, tried new restaurants, and spent lazy Sundays watching movies and eating popcorn. He met my family, and I met his. We celebrated birthdays, holidays, and even made it through our first argument about what toppings to put on our pizza. For the most part, things were good. I felt happy and secure in our relationship. But as with any relationship, there were challenges. My boyfriend had been hurt in the past, and sometimes he struggled with trust. He would ask questions about my old friends, or get quiet if I mentioned a guy from my past. I tried to reassure him that he was the only one I cared about, but sometimes it felt like he was looking for reasons to worry. One Sunday afternoon, everything changed. We were sitting on my couch, scrolling through old photos on my phone. I have always loved taking pictures of friends, family, pets, and even random things like sunsets or funny signs I see around town. My gallery is a mix of memories, some important and some just silly moments I wanted to remember. As we scrolled, we laughed at some of the photos. There was one of me and my best friend dressed as superheroes for Halloween, another of my cat wearing a tiny sweater, and a few blurry selfies from nights out with friends. Then, suddenly, he stopped. I looked over and saw his face change. He was staring at a photo I didn't even remember taking, a picture of me with a guy friend from before we started dating. In the photo, the guy had his head resting on my chest. We were both smiling, and to me, it had always felt innocent. But in that moment, I realized how it might look to someone else. He didn't say anything right away. He just quietly deleted the photo, then went to the recently deleted folder and erased it from there, too. I felt a little embarrassed, but I tried to explain. That was just a friend, I said. Nothing ever happened between us. I didn't even remember I had that photo. He nodded, but I could tell he was upset. The date on the picture was a little over a month before we became official. I tried to reassure him that it meant nothing, but he seemed distant for the rest of the day. At first, I thought he would let it go. But over the next few days, he brought it up again and again. Each time, I tried to explain that I never had any romantic interest in the guy, and to the best of my knowledge, he didn't have any in me either. I apologized for the photo, admitting that it probably wasn't the best idea to let someone get that close, even as a friend. I told him I'm a naturally friendly person. I hug everyone, even strangers sometimes. It's just who I am. But I understood why it upset him, and I promised to be more careful in the future. We ended up having a big argument about it. He said he felt betrayed, that I had micro-cheated on him, even though the photo was taken before we were officially together. He said it made him question my loyalty and whether he could trust me. I tried to explain that we weren't even a couple when the photo was taken. We were going on dates, yes, but he had made it clear back then that he didn't want a relationship. Still, I hadn't been seeing anyone else. I chose to be loyal to him even before we were official, but I didn't think I owed him loyalty at that stage. For a day, he broke up with me. I was heartbroken and confused. I went to his house to talk things through. We sat on his porch, and I told him again that nothing had happened with the guy in the photo. I said I was sorry for not deleting the picture sooner, but I genuinely didn't remember it was there. He said he forgave me, and I thought we could move on. But the issue didn't go away. He kept bringing it up, asking me to apologize again and again, not just for the photo, but for micro-cheating, for being disloyal, for betraying his trust. I tried to be patient, but after a while, it started to feel unfair. I had already explained everything, and I didn't think it was right to keep apologizing for something that happened before we were together. One night, after another long argument, I gave in. I apologized for everything, for the photo, for the micro-cheating, for making him feel hurt. But later, it didn't sit right with me. I realized that I was only apologizing to make the argument stop, not because I believed I had done something wrong. I decided to talk to him about it. The next day, I told him, I'm sorry for letting someone get that close to me, but I can't keep apologizing for something that happened before we were together. I don't think I was disloyal or cheated on you in any way. I care about your feelings, but I also have to be honest about how I feel. He didn't take it well. He said he couldn't see me the same way anymore. He said he couldn't get the image out of his head, and he didn't understand how I could say I didn't owe him loyalty before we were together. He said my thinking was messed up, and he felt deeply hurt. All of this left me feeling confused and sad. I care about him, and I never wanted to hurt him. But I also believe that everyone has a past, and what matters most is how we treat each other now. I've always been open and honest with him, and I've never given him a reason to doubt my loyalty since we became a couple. I started to wonder if I was in the wrong. Should I have apologized more? Should I have deleted the photo sooner, even though I didn't remember it was there? Am I a bad girlfriend for not feeling guilty about something that happened before we were together? I spent a lot of time thinking about what loyalty means. To me, it's about trust, respect, and honesty. It's about being there for each other, supporting one another, and choosing each other every day. I've done my best to live up to those values in our relationship. But I also believe that people need space to be themselves, to have friends, to have a past. I know my boyfriend has his own insecurities. He's told me before that he's been hurt in the past, that he's afraid of being betrayed. I try to be patient and understanding, but sometimes it feels like no matter what I do, it's not enough. I want to help him feel secure, but I also need him to trust me. I started talking to my friends about what happened. Some of them said they understood why my boyfriend was upset, but they agreed that I hadn't done anything wrong. Others said that if he couldn't trust me, maybe he wasn't the right person for me. Their support helped me see things more clearly and made me feel less alone. I also spent more time with my family. I talked to my mom about the situation, and she reminded me that relationships are about growing together, not holding each other to impossible standards. She told me about mistakes she made when she was younger, and how important it is to forgive and move forward. During this time, I also focused on myself. I started running again, something I hadn't done in months. I joined a book club at the local library and made a few new friends. I realized that I can't control how my boyfriend feels, but I can control how I respond. I can choose to be honest, to set boundaries, and to stand up for myself when I need to. Eventually, my boyfriend and I had another long talk. I told him that I care about him, but I can't keep apologizing for something that happened before we were together. I asked him to trust me, to believe in our relationship, and to let go of the past. I told him that I want to move forward, but only if we can do it together, with trust and respect. He said he needed time to think. I respected that. I spent the next few days focusing on myself, spending time with friends and family, and doing things that made me happy. I realized that I deserved to be with someone who trusts me and values me for who I am. After a week, he called me. He said he wanted to try again, but he needed to work on his own insecurities. I agreed, but I told him that I needed him to trust me and not bring up the past anymore. We decided to take things slow and focus on building trust. Now, things are better, but we're still working through it. We talk more openly about our feelings, and we try to support each other. I'm glad we're giving our relationship another chance, but I also know that I need to stand up for myself and not apologize for things I didn't do wrong. If you're in a similar situation, my advice is to be honest, both with your partner and with yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for your past, especially if you haven't done anything wrong. Set boundaries, communicate openly, and remember that trust goes both ways. You deserve to be with someone who values you for who you are, not just for what you've done or haven't done. Looking back, I wish I'd been more careful with my photos, but I don't regret being a friendly, open person. That's who I am, and I won't apologize for it. I hope my boyfriend can see that, and if not, I know I'll find someone who does. I've learned that relationships are about trust, respect, and growing together. And I know that, no matter what, I'll be okay.